Good evening, everyone. This is Denise Brown with Revelation Nation. I would like to welcome you to our second expose on the TV series Damien. Tonight, we will be examining the second episode called The Second Death. Okay, and in this particular episode, it starts out with an exorcism. And it is a pretty unique and interesting exorcism, to say the least. I will allow you to view that on your own time and to do research on your own as far as that particular portion of the broadcast is concerned. However, I do want to examine the scriptures that Damien highlights while he returns to his apartment in New York City. These are passages that particularly outline his destiny. So I just want to play this right now. The first scripture is Revelations 13 and 18. The second is Revelation 6 and 4. The third scripture is Revelations 9 and 2. And the fourth scripture is Revelation 6 and 8. All right, so I want to start by examining all four of these particular passages of scripture. Now, beginning with Revelations 13 and 8, we have the scripture that reads, let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of man. That is 666. Now, before I go any further, I feel like it's important to emphasize that the first episode starts with the beast is rising, okay? And if you notice in Revelation 13, the beginning of the chapter starts with the beast rising out of the sea. Okay, so moving on here to Revelations 13 and 18, which the spiritual meaning behind this is that those who are aware or have been enlightened by the Lord, let him count the number of the beast. The number of the beast is 666, which is a mark that will be forced upon individuals during the Great Tribulation. Okay, and it is only those who walk with Christ that will be able to understand why it is so important not to take the mark. Okay, so moving on to the second scripture, this is in Revelations, the 6th and the 4th chapter. And I want to make mention that in the beginning of the 6th chapter, the 6th chapter through the 18th chapter is actually the events that will take place during the Great Tribulation. Okay, and in this particular scripture, it says, then another horse came out, a fiery one. Its rider was given the power to take peace from the earth and to make people kill each other. To him was given a large sword. Okay, now the red horse in this passage could be Russia or the great bear that will invade Israel from the north. Okay, and in this particular passage, it states that the horse particularly is red, which is a symbol of war. Okay, and the power was given to him to take peace from the earth. And so during the time of the Great Tribulation, there will be more people killed than any other similar time frame in history. And I feel like that is very important to mention. And we just have to be thankful as the people of God that we will not be here to endure this terrible suffering, but we have to pray for those who don't know God, that they will come to know God and the pardon of their sins before it is too late. Moving on to Revelations 9 and 2. Revelations 9 and 2, it says, when he opened the abyss, smoke rises from it like smoke from a gigantic furnace. The sun and the sky were darkened by the smoke from the abyss. Okay, now the abyss equals a pit or a place of restraint for those who have come under the judgment of God. Smoke from the abyss pollutes the air during this time. Okay, and in my research, I found that this could possibly be concentrated in the old Roman Empire. Okay, all right, and then finally, that fourth scripture is Revelation 6 and 8, and it says, I looked, and there before me was a pale horse. Its rider was named Death, and Hades was following close behind him. They were given power over a fourth of the earth to kill by sword, famine, and plague, and by the wild beasts of the earth. Now, the pale horse in this passage represents death. Okay, all right, and the pale horse is the fourth rider and the deadliest. And he destroys the body. Then hell swallows up the souls and spirits of those he kills. And this could be through chemical or biological warfare. Okay, so I feel like this is important. The media is already letting you know. They always let you know ahead of time what is going to happen. But hey, the Lord already gave provision for us in the word as to what was going to happen in the last days. Now, the final scene that I want to examine is Kelly's funeral, in which the Damien becomes very disturbed during the funeral. I want to move to that here really quickly. Let's see. And I want you to see what happens in this particular passage. Let's see. Okay, I don't know if you noticed that, but during this particular scene, Damien becomes very, very uncomfortable. He becomes sweaty, and he's looking around. He sees Jesus on the cross. He looks up and he sees Jesus in the stained glass window. And I thought particularly important was that when Kelly's sister, who was given the eulogy, stated that she praised God for Christ's victory over sin and death. And as soon as she said that, a black bird burst through the window right through Jesus's face. I mean, we see the blasphemy, we see the disrespect for God and who Christ is that is going on in this particular TV series. And so I could go on and on and on, but these are the scenes that I wanted to address particularly on today. As far as this series, Damien, A&E. It's a series that's on A&E. So please, when you have an opportunity, go out and view this series and take a look at all of the symbolism, take a look at all of the innuendos, all of the things that they are implying, all of the things that they are showing you, all of the one-eye symbolism. I mean, there are so many things, upside down crosses. I mean, there is so many things that shows you their blatant disrespect for who God is. And it is also preparing the masses to receive the Antichrist and to embrace the Antichrist. They're presenting him as if he is a victim when he is not. He knows, he is well aware of who he is and what he is coming to do. So, saints of God, be in prayer. The time is coming and it is approaching very fastly. Thank you for joining me on tonight on this expose of Damien, A&E. God bless you and good night.